power pint. It's the Merton College drink. They just go straight to the library and study until 2 in the morning.
If you had an hour to live, what would you do?
Probably a lot of...
Hello, lovely to meet you. What's your name?
I'm Noah, good to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Noah. And what do you study?
Physics and philosophy.
Okay, brilliant. Oh, like Barty. What year are you in?
First year.
Okay, nice. What college are you at?
Merton College.
Oh, I love Merton.
It's good, I like it.
Merton's one of my top 5. People say it's the place where fun goes to die. Is that true?
Well, I think in order for fun to go there to die, the fun has to be there to start with.
So you think Oxford in general isn't fun?
No, I don't think it is fun. It's not a very fun city. Not much happens. I say I'm from Oxford.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's just...
I mean, your dress sense is pretty fun.
Yeah, you got to try.
You're
and
like
counteract
eyeshadows.
it.
Yeah. Do you reckon you're the most fun person in Oxford?
I haven't met everyone in Oxford, so as a scientist, I
Very-
don't feel able to make that claim. But,
Very diplomatic answer. Physics and philosophy, what made you decide you wanted to do that?
well, I always liked physics and learning stuff about the world, but then I always had these questions about physics, more fundamental questions, and if I asked a physics teacher those questions, they'd never be able to answer them. And I thought philosophy is actually just a different way of approaching the same issue of what is the world.
What were these questions that you were asking that the physics teachers couldn't answer?
You know, when we were talking about forces, for example, if I said, what is a force? Then they'd go, another time, Noah, like, come on, can we not? I don't know, learning about kind of what science is for is also really interesting to me, because I think there's definitely a split between different types of people who think is for different things. Philosophy can help clarify those distinctions and then enable better communication.
What is a force from a philosophical viewpoint, I guess?
It's just a useful mathematical construct, basically something that causes something to change. Anything that causes a change, this is probably wrong, but is deemed a force. It's just a mathematical construct, like everything in physics. It's just the most useful mathematical construct we have to make predictions about the world.
I had a long debate with Barty, who also does philosophy and physics, the other day about free will. Do you think free will exists?
Yes, but with a caveat.
Okay.
I believe in determinism.
Right.
I think
Me
the
too.
universe is deterministic. Determinism is the idea that with the initial conditions of a system, you can perfectly predict the outcome of a system, and it evolves in a causal way, and there's no stage at which something completely new is going to happen.
Yeah. So like a good example is the pool table, right?
Yes.
If you hit the cue ball at a ball at a particular angle at a particular speed, you can predict exactly what will happen.
Yes.
And that's the same on a larger scale with the universe.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's determinism.
That's determinism. That is not incompatible with free will, because I believe that consciousness is an emergent property that arises spontaneously from interactions on a low level, so like neuronal electrochemical signals, and then consciousness emerges from that. You could say that we don't have free will because we're not actually making any decisions, but because we have consciousness, it's effectively the same. So I'm just proposing a slightly different definition of free will.
Can you re-explain to me what free will then means to you?
We view ourselves as making decisions, and it's useful in the day-to-day life to think of ourselves as making said decisions, which I think is just as good as actually being able to make those decisions. Whether or not those decisions are predetermined, to me, doesn't enormously matter. So that's my view.
That's also my view. Barty's stance was that although he also believes in determinism, he thought that he views free will differently, again to do with consciousness, but thinks that it matters that we think about something, and it matters that something we think about right now changes something we do in the future, which I disagree with on a fundamental level, because I'm like, well, it doesn't matter because we were destined to think about that, and we were destined to think about thinking about that, and we were destined to decide whether we thought it mattered or not and whatnot. But ultimately, after 3 hours of debate, we came to an agreement.
3 hours.
That's light work
that's
for
pretty...
us. What's the best thing about Merton?
The power pint. It's the Merton College drink. 2 shots of vodka, 1 VK topped up to the pint mark with Red Bull. So the good people of Merton College, they go to the bar, they have, 3 or 4 or 5 power pints. Because they're buzzing, when the bar closes at 11, they just go straight to the library and study until 2 in the morning.
And that's why it gets the reputation of where fun goes to die. The things that you could do at 11 p.m. when you're buzzing and drunk, Merton students decide to go to the library.
Yes.
That's why you've got that reputation. What's the food like at Merton?
The lunches are particularly good because there's so much lunch. Dinner is a rip-off compared to lunch, honestly.
Really? How much is lunch?
£4.40, I believe.
Okay.
But you get unlimited soup and unlimited salad. So if you take a Tupperware or 2 to
Nice.
lunch, then you get lunch and dinner.
Nice. That's
Top
the kind of
Merton
hustle mentality we like to see. I was going to ask, what's your money-saving life hack, but we've just heard it.
Yeah.
And how much is dinner?
Don't know, I haven't been.
Fair enough. You don't need to. You've got your soup. You've got your
Exactly.
salad. What's your accommodation like at Merton?
My accommodation's really nice. It's like a house, 12 rooms in the house.
You get
really
all
like
12
it.
rooms.
No, I don't get all 12 rooms, but
Shame.
the building I was in was meant to be demolished like years ago, and every year they say you're the last year who's going to live in it and we're going to demolish it. So my one's a little bit less nice than some of the other ones. 1 shower between 12.
Oh,
But we've never had any issues so far, and we're all friends, so it's fine.
I'm so surprised that you
We've got a
describe that
bath
as
well.
nice.
Well, my room.
No, I'm
has
sorry, but I am not
5
using a
times-
bath when 11 other people could be using that. That's grim.
They're not going to use it at the same time as you.
No,
so
but
you don't need
it
to
gets
worry
so
about it.
dirty. If it works for you, then power to you. What universities did you apply to?
I applied to Oxford, Bristol, St Andrews, Manchester and Bath.
All for physics and philosophy or different?
Well, Manchester and Bath don't offer physics and philosophy.
So
I
you just applied
applied to
for
them
physics?
to fill up the spots.
Okay, fair. How did you decide what universities to apply to?
There are 4 universities that offer physics and philosophy
Right.
in the country. One of them is in London. If I spend more than 2 days in London, I have a panic attack. So I wasn't going to go
Brilliant.
there. So then I applied to the other 3, and then I just applied to like 2 decent unis for physics.
Yeah. What degree is the biggest red flag?
Surely economics and management.
Okay.
Surely.
Why?
Why? This is just self-explanatory. Because basically, I just feel that the people who do economics and management are like, in the future, going to exploit people. It's just like training
Yeah.
to exploit people effectively.
Do they not teach people about socialism in economics and management at Oxford? Probably not.
Yeah, they probably say there's this crazy, really out there theory. That's
Yeah, you don't need to
awful.
read about this.
You don't need to read about this.
What do you think of like physics and philosophy? What do you think other people think of it?
I think people are quite accurate generally. People think people who do physics and philosophy are like absolutely loony, which is true. That you have a lot of work, which is also true.
What do you think, looking at you, what do you think people would think you study?
I don't know. I think I'm dressed like a physics and philosopher.
What's your favourite philosophy fun fact?
Jeremy Bentham's mummified head is preserved in UCL is quite a good one.
On like a straw body or something, right?
Yeah,
Like they've
yeah,
got
I've
a-
seen it.
yeah.
It's pretty weird.
Yeah, I do not want to see that. It's so weird. Did he lecture at UCL?
Yeah, he founded UCL,
Oh,
I believe.
okay. And what's your favourite physics fun fact?
My favourite physics fun fact is that Schrödinger once went on a week-long retreat with many hired mistresses and came back with 3 Nobel Prize worthy physics papers.
And were those mistresses
Questionable
dead or
fact.
alive when they got back?
They were alive.
That was meant to be a joke.
What?
That was meant to be a Schrodinger's sketch.
That took me way too long.
Well, I mean, I had to
My bad.
explain it to you. If you had an hour to live, what would you do?
Probably a lot of heroin. Just be
Okay, if you had a week to live, what would you do?
read a
Even more
book,
heroin.
Read a book.
Hang on, what would the book be?
Read like Middlemarch just to kill the time.
What's Middlemarch?
It's a really, really long Victorian book. Because like if you've got a week to live, you're not like, what else are you gonna do?
Maybe not read a long, boring book? Okay, you've got a year to live.
I've
what
got a
do you
year
do?
to live. What do? I'll grow the world's biggest pumpkin.
Okay, nice. How are you going to do that? How are you going to ensure that you beat out the competition?
I'm gonna Oh,
This is what stumped you.
I don't know, but I will do it.
Will you carve it on your last day?
I think it would take more than a day to carve, to be honest. No, I'd eat it.
You'd
I
eat
love
it.
pumpkins.
Yeah, fair. Not sponsored by Big Pumpkin.
Big pumpkin. big.
It's quite hard, isn't
Yeah.
it? to say. Lovely to meet you. Would you like some chocolate?
Yes,
Or
please.
some